We are live. This is the market update. Gone. That would be Ethereum. How are you going to trade this? Is Solana next? Yes. I'll tell you how to handle that. This market is going up. We are back. I am back. You are back. I was loud before. If you thought I was loud before, turned out we tested this microphone. People could still hear me if I had the microphone over here, but I'll just shout into it if it's all the same to you. This market is going up, period. It's going up a lot, and it could be primarily led by altcoins. Believe it or not, a piece of research that I was brave enough to show about to two people, connecting William Gann, the life of a prominent religious figure, and what could happen in Ethereum as in rising from the dead. I published it. You can still read it. It's in the Patreon store and in the Patreon group. And guess what? ETH is rising from the dead. It is. And we're talking about not only rising, but we're talking about ascension, sovereignty, right? Rule over the crypto ecosystem. And Solana is next, possibly followed by Cardano, right? I mean, we had sector analysis saying, yes, ETH would wake up, and then Solana and Cardano could follow. In other words, an all-out alt season, because it was crypto winter 3 weeks ago, and a week ago, not even that, alt season was dead and never happening again in our lifetime. Excellent. The good news is I have research today. We'll do charts. We'll do TA. Clearly, it's the pause that refreshes. We're going to cover news. We're going to cover privacy. The dead guy's talking again. It's unbelievable. Solana memes are on the move, right? Trump and AIntivirus are next because they're tied together. We'll go over that, and we'll take a visit to the Patreon store, okay, where we have the new Magnificent 7. That's right. Even if you're allergic to a monthly membership, the Gann model is so radical, it pumped out the Solana Magnificent 7 without me asking for it to do 7 coins. The Solana Magnificent 7. Oh, and by the way, Toby Ward, who had, I don't know, the Bitcoin call, the ETH call, would not allow anybody to sell ETH, including me, is in the YouTube member area, our last podcast. Very interesting broadcast from like the dorm room, okay, where she just laid it all down. You want an upside price target in Sui, Solana, Ethereum, where's it going? According to the Oracle, well, you know what, folks? Now would be a good time to part with some cash and get some research and get involved so this thing doesn't just absolutely smoke. Because remember, when the market was going down, when it was tariff tantrum and everybody in legacy was panicking, fools. Everyone was panicking. When did they do all the selling? Over the weekend. Because that's what created the fear. LuxAlgo, we got a chart of Bitcoin dominance. That's going to sell LuxAlgo all by itself. And, of course, as predicted, we have the Vice President of the United States going to the Bitcoin conference to say what exactly? What's he going to say? Probably they can't send the Orange Man because of his meme coin. But I'm assuming he's not going to go there to tell everybody how great Bitcoin is. I'm assuming they know that. So we have the administration at the Bitcoin conference. We have the Orange Man on the 22nd at his Trump dinner. And we have Vance at Bitcoin Vegas. And you got to watch out for the weekends, right? There's just, everyone's like, well, I think I should get involved, but it's up a lot. And, the legacy guys are like, okay, well, I guess we'll figure out how to get allocated to the Bitcoin Ethereum ETF. There's no rush on Ethereum because it's already crashed and, it's kind of way underperformed. So, I'll do that on Monday. Okay. Okay, bro. Well, crypto bros work 7 days a week. So we will just get in front of all of you because Fidelity, BlackRock, and the whole equities herd not only has to allocate to IBIT, but they also have to allocate to Ethereum. And then that is going to trigger a giga breakout inside the crypto ecosystem for layer ones, which I saw somewhere on Lunar Crush. Layer ones are trending. You know, that thing that Toby talks about, how you run the rails of the new internet on layer ones. Yeah, that would be here now, right now. So if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button, turn on the notification button, buy a $4.99 emoji membership so you can be cool and get priority on comments. Or you could get yourself a membership and retire the bloodline. Because Toby did 100x picks. There's 2 sets of them in the Patreon store. And I think they're in the YouTube. They are in the YouTube member area. They're in both places. Forget about it. We did 100x in the last podcast. Small caps, 100x. And the way we got it is she picked them, and then the Gann model sorted it out. Guess what? I got a model and a model. I got a clairvoyant, trained crypto analyst, and a Gann AI model. Right? We're going to a whole new tier of research. So get it while it's hot. Get it while it's cheap. Not even playing around a little bit. Not even playing around. Like I am here to help you, and I am here to kick everyone else's you know what, right? No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more no more micro influencer. Oh no. No. Okay, we have a new member in the house. Welcome, sir. We appreciate your business. Okay, that is Edward Hamden. Thank you, sir. GF, Bob Marsh, a member. Grandpa Keeter. The ETH Tactical Report in Patreon. We're going to go over it. Right? We have Grandpa Keeter. We have Alexandra going to bed in Europe with some tequila. Caroline, what's going on? Huckleberry Native. Miguel, Live It. Some new names. Gianna member. What's going on? Quiet Dawn. Carl. Huckleberry Native. Hot Mess Express. The Hot Mess Express. You know who the Hot Mess Express is? Wall Street. Because they obviously don't own enough of the Ethereum ETF. And as you can tell by the price action in meme coins, hedge funds are all underinvested in high beta crypto. Because, again, it was never going up again in our lifetime. Ha! Big Rich, Indie Rock Crypto, Brandon, a member. What's up? What's up? Okay, yeah. Big Rich bought some Patreon reports, bought a giant pile of SOL at 140. Boom. That's going to 200, by the way. It is. On a rope. Toby's price target is higher. Naturally, tune in for that. Okay. Hedera, I see somebody asking me, yeah, that was the model's coin of the day at one point. Again, you have to stay tuned. Yeah. So Hedera was a top model score for May and the full moon in particular. Okay. And it's one of the top 5 made in America crypto picks. So there. Hawaii Rider, XRP has 19 ETFs filed. Right. ETH is going to be huge. ETH's going to be a volcano. Solana's going to be as big as ETH. And then XRP is going beyond the moon. Means nada. Gala. Yes. Metaverse. Gaming. It's coming up everywhere. I'm getting into it on Lunar Crush. Every time we do a member live stream, somebody brings up something or Toby finds something. And guess what? It's gaming and metaverse. Naturally, you want to be in there to get involved. Crypto crazy knowledge dump is here. Okay, we are doing everything because we cannot be stopped. Well, our friends in Europe, gee, the central government in Europe is selling individual countries for not enforcing digital censorship. Is that so? Huh. So you can't say what you want in China. You can't say what you want in Russia. You can't say what you want in Europe. Do you think you need a privacy solution anywhere? Oh, well, please don't take my word for it, because guess what? Guess who's back? John McAfee. So for anybody who doesn't know, this guy's dead. And he fought everybody in the world. Cartels, government agencies, intelligence services, everybody. Silicon Valley, everybody. Absolutely everybody. And right now, he's just dropping some knowledge in a 3-minute podcast because guess what? They used everything he ever did and everything he ever wrote and proprietary information, meaning stuff that's not out in public. You know, the Declaration of Cryptocurrency Independence written in 2018, that's public. They sent me a copy of that. I read that and I said, I'm never getting off this coin. This has a meme coin and privacy functionality, you know, like a mixer, like Tornado Cash. They have the tokenomics. You can buy a gift card without anybody looking at you, like Skynet or whatever, or these guys. So you can have this or this or this. This is AIntivirus. I own it. I'm never getting off of it. This could be a stealth breakout through a Fibonacci speed resistance line, right? I don't know. You know, at some point, especially with the pop that it has, like, you know, these breakouts, they weren't breakouts because there was no pop. This one had some pop to it going through this Fibonacci speed resistance line. 6 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents. They're buying Moo Deng. It was fine. Let's do it. Young people, they're host. They got a new website. They got everything. They got so much stuff. I think people don't get it yet. So the dead guy's just going to have to talk. And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, 4 million market cap. The day the dead guy I interview him on the show and he answers a question. Okay. Let me know. Right. If you know, once you get back up off the floor because the rocket dust and the rocket blast blew you away. And it's not just this thing. It's all the Solana memes, all of them, right? We'll go through, well, I'll show you in the store later, the Solana Magnificent 7. Now, this is not in the Magnificent 7, but it is attached to memes. It is attached to what is going on here, which is the rise of big cap memes. So here's the story of big cap meme coins if you're new to crypto, right? Meme coins came out, okay? Centralized exchanges got paid huge amounts of money to list them on exchanges, at which point whales and algos and hedge funds pulled in retail, dumped it on their heads, and then it crashed, resulting in huge profits for smart money. Retail's wrecked and never coming back. That's what happened. Now these things have been dead for so long, they're back. You know, this is one of the biggest meme coins out there. This is the Orange Man's coin. So you do the breakout. You retest LuxAlgo support. They hammered it down here for days. This thing's off to the races. What happens if this guy announces additional meme coin functionality at this dinner? What's going to happen? What's going to happen if they get out of this tariff thing and he comes out looking like a superstar? Or they do the Bitcoin reserve? Keeping in mind that the McAfee coin launched itself in the wake of this launch. So they may actually go together. So if they both explode, because like I said, we're into squirrels and hippos and goats, it's all back. It's so back, right? It's so back. It's kind of funny how the McAfee video accidentally spilled over into an anchor formerly from Communist News Network. That's kind of funny, just in case you didn't get the point. Okay, now the other reason why crypto is up is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a gigantic dollar devaluation. The only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency. I know I've said that. I know that doesn't mean boo. You don't get it. That's okay. Because a week ago, not even a week ago, you had the dollar collapse and Asian currencies rise as a part of a deal to make American goods cheaper overseas. So Besant, who controls the currency, right, gets together with people overseas and says, you know what? We're dropping the dollar massively. So you had a crash of the dollar and a moonshot in the Taiwan dollar. That's where they make all the chips. And everybody sat around in Doomberg and everybody was like, gee, what's going on here? And I'm screaming into this thing. It's a dollar devaluation. Now, what is the quickest way to make the dollar go down? Okay. It's for Bitcoin to go up. It's for crypto to go up. Ethereum especially. Ethereum especially. Gold up, dollar down. It doesn't get any more bullish for Ethereum. So as soon as the dollar devaluation started, bam, Ethereum is gone. Because Ethereum is also a macro asset. And as I stated the other day, people in equities care about the story. They care about the narrative. They don't care about whether or not you can trade meme coins on Ethereum. They care about listening to Vitalik talk about how he wants to make it better. He wants to make it look like Solana. He wants to make it look like Bitcoin. You know, they just got a story out there. And then someone just has to use it for finance, because I don't think institutions are going to use other networks. They're going to use Solana, which is in the report that I'm going to show you. But they're also going to use ETH, because ETH has got this huge layer 2 network underneath it. It's going to get used. And even if it doesn't, in the short term, it has a long-term story. And equities players are dramatically underinvested. So if you're following this, the dollar goes down. That makes Ethereum go up. Equities players need to buy Ethereum, and everyone in crypto is short. Do you realize, I don't know if I have it in here. I think I do. Somewhere in here, I have, yeah, okay. So ETH social metrics. ETH's dead. Ethereum has re-entered our top 10 alt rank for the first time in 2 months. You know, if you go to Lunar Crush, I can search the Solana ecosystem, the Cardano ecosystem, the Base ecosystem. I can search every ecosystem in crypto except Ethereum. Right? I mean, it's not just going up. It's going up in a biblical sense. And what people don't realize, because, you know, they weren't here for a couple of these other cycles, is that ETH takes everything with it for months, not days, right? You'd have these like alt farts, you know, like, oh, look, fart coin went up for 4 days and then they smashed the market. You have this moving like this. It takes everything with it. Not to mention the fact that when ETH smokes higher, this is how it goes. ETH either does nothing or goes straight up or straight down. Meanwhile, back at the Sovereign Ranch, Uncle Sugar can't seem to pass the stablecoin bill. I thought this was common sense, that the stablecoin companies would want to buy treasury debt, but apparently, I don't know, maybe Jamie Dimon doesn't want it. Maybe the left is just, I don't know, the left doesn't want it because Trump wants it. I don't know. Maybe some people from phone calls got made. Somebody, you know, bad people who want you to eat bugs, they don't want it to happen. I was talking to the Eagle King about this, and I'm like, God, can you believe they didn't do this? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, right? Right? The Senate missed an opportunity to show leadership. Excellent. So you know what we're going to do? I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do Bitcoin. We're just going to rebel against the system. You don't want to make it easier? Excellent. We'll make it easy for you. We'll just moon it all. Moon it all. Look at this. Like, what is the case for crypto? What is the case for this thing to just go absolutely up only for months or years? Canadian unemployment surges to 6.9%. Young people in Canada, 14% unemployment. You haven't seen numbers like that since like the 1979 recession. What do you think is going to happen if these kids get any spare change? Open up the casino. I mean, what's the worst case scenario? They're unemployed and have to live at home. You know, they have to give up French fries for a week. What? You know what I'm saying? Let the kids play. Open the show, open the casino. Let's go right now. So the Federal Reserve's balance sheet declined by $17 billion, the lowest since April 2020. So they're still tightening. They're still tightening, right? The balance sheet is still falling. So inflation is at 0. They should be cutting rates, and they're still tightening. They're still tightening. And you know what? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And he's a fool, and the market should go up. And the only way this ever changes is if they devalue the dollar versus Bitcoin. They take Bitcoin to 140. They take ETH to stratospheric prices that people in the YouTube and Patreon are fully aware of where they're going to take this stuff until they get it. That's it. $10 trillion asset manager BlackRock meets with Uncle Sugar to discuss whatever. Okay. So what is the key thing in this this sort of little tweet? BlackRock has $10 trillion under management. That means they have mutual funds. You know, basically BlackRock owns everything because they own a huge chunk of the S&P 500. Now, BlackRock has they have asset managers, they have portfolio managers, they have researchers. And let me ask you something. BlackRock, if they had to put 5% of that $10 trillion into Bitcoin, where would Bitcoin go? And now I want you to imagine that it's not just BlackRock, but if you look at total global pension funds, it's like 60 trillion or more, right? There's BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. And then there's the gigantic pension funds and sovereign wealth funds all over the world. And you got to start asking yourself, you know, everyone's like, oh yeah, Michael Saylor buys $19 billion worth of Bitcoin. Cool. Okay. What happens if they have to start buying this stuff by the hundreds of billions? Just because they have to take money from the Magnificent Seven and reallocate it into crypto. And you're like, okay, Bill, well, that's really nice. And I really don't understand that. And I'm fine with that, right? Because I've been screaming about this, and Toby's been screaming about this for 2 weeks. More than that, 3 weeks. Now you're starting to see what happens when these gigantic players have to start moving money in. Like everyone's like, what's my dip? The dip is it goes up 20%. It retraces to up 9%. You have 6 hours to buy it, and then it resumes. That's the dip until it gets absurd, which it's nowhere near absurd. 104 in Bitcoin is not absurd. 104 just means 100 doesn't matter, which again, Toby told you all about this for 2 weeks. So the people who are watching that show, they know what to do, right? Coinbase adds support for PAX Gold. Fond memories of PAX Gold. Hysterical that they're listing gold. Gold is finally good enough to list on an exchange. Excellent. Buy Bitcoin. Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum does better when metals do better and the dollars goes down. So again, no one owns Ethereum, but let's list gold. That's fine. But, you know, kind of laughable. Kind of laughable, right? It's like, okay, you know, they're listing it. Great. Let's buy Bitcoin. Oh, you guys don't like stable coins? Okay. How about this? How about we get the second orange man? How about we go with this? How about we get on the jet? You don't want stable coins? You don't want to cooperate? Okay. No problem. But I mean, we'll just take it up. You guys don't want, you know, fiat backed digital CBDC, whatever. Okay. Fine. Great. Like, let's just cyberpunk it. So as social media rediscovers ETH, they're not going to have a problem rediscovering what's going to happen here. $800 million in short liquidations. You know, I'm asking myself, were people really short? Or was I just some sort of lone nut job looking at like biblical Gann numbers? I hate to know what the answer to that question was. But $800 million short. Why? Because it was going to 91, because Solana was going below 100. Here's the beautiful thing about these day trading dimwits. They're always looking for it to be tidy. They always want everything to go, like they always want one more drop. Like, I'm going to outsmart everybody for one more drop, then I'll buy. Meanwhile, thing just takes off. And then, true to form, they missed it. And now you know what they're going to do? They're going to fight it. Because that's what people do. That's what you're not doing. First, people were scared to buy it because it was down. Now they're scared to buy it because it's up. And then guys are going to be more comfortable shorting it because it's up 20%. It's like, okay, I'll short it. I'll make a little money and then I'll buy. I'll be more psychologically comfortable. And then they wake up, and they're doing this in Asia time, by the way, right? The dollar devaluation in Asia, the Taiwan dollar. Yeah, they're doing all of this overnight. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get short. It'll go down. I'll buy because it'll be tidy. You know what? It's never tidy. Now, everyone likes it tidy. I get it. It's never tidy. Never. So I don't know who was short this, but you know what? They'll be back because they don't believe this. I mean, Novogratz not only dumped Bitcoin mining for AI, and I know he needed to do that because he was going public, but it's the biggest reverse indicator of all time. He dumped a Bitcoin farm for an AI data center when, Skynet Incorporated is going to build data centers to where they're going to be like a commodity, and a Bitcoin mine is going to be worth a fortune. It's going to be priceless because it's a Bitcoin farm. And he sold ETH at 1,800 for Solana. I have no problem buying Solana, but he's really going to be upset if he knew where Ethereum was going based on the Gann biblical numbers, which again was so radical. I rarely showed it to anybody. Okay, so keep dreaming. Bitcoin is never going to $100,000. Peter Schiff from November in 2019. The last time we were never having alt season. The last time it was crypto winter. The last time the cycle was over. Seeing a pattern here? Wait until everybody wakes up and goes, gee, I don't think we ever had the cycle. Or we're having the cycle, or whatever narrative they have, right? First, we were never having anything. Now it's like, wow, this could go on for a long time. Watch. That'll be on Monday after they rip it up over the weekend. Okay, Steak and Shake. So I think this is the group that has Bobby Kennedy friendly fries. Now wants you to give them your Bitcoin in exchange for a meal. Good try. I'm not doing that. But they got to get it on their balance sheet one way or the other. And plus, it'll be cool. People will make videos paying with Bitcoin. Somebody will do it. I'll probably do it. Right. But, those sats, when Skynet takes over in 2030, because, that's what the man was talking about in that video. Cynthia Lummis about the Genius Act. Okay. It's important that we continue moving digital asset legislation forward that preserves dollar dominance. Public service reminder that the guys that want you to eat bugs, yeah, they have a lot of control still. It's just like Orange Man and his pen against all these bad characters, right? Someone's got to help Cynthia. Now, on the subject of gaming in crypto and metaverse, somebody was talking about Gala. They're having an moment in Japan because people underestimated demand for the Nintendo Switch. Last time I remember something like this, maybe it was PlayStation 5, but the real big one was Nintendo Wii, where you literally had to give money to like managers at Target to see if they could get you one. I don't know if it was Target, but you had to have a connection to get a Nintendo Wii. It's going to be the same thing with Switch. I don't know if they did it on purpose. They're apologizing because people can't get orders filled. What is going to happen when these handheld devices have crypto stuff in it? What happens when they have it on the Solana phone? Is anyone even looking at this stuff? People aren't even looking at it. It's like ETH. They're not even looking at it. Like Toby's brought up a couple of metaverse and gaming coins in the podcast that you should go watch. Right? Goldman thinks Nintendo Switch will blow away estimates. Okay, then decentralized gaming follows. Because obviously they can't get centralized gaming right. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Orange Man team seeks tariff cuts, rare earth release. So they got the metals that they wanted. Okay, China should open up our markets, which probably means letting Twitter function there in exchange for TikTok. Orange Man says tariffs should go down 50%. This was over, by the way. It was over when they did the currency devaluation, which is why the market is up only. Okay, Deep State Bug Eater says everything is wah, wah, wah. Nah, actually, no, dude. Just shut up. Just shut up. You're all fools. This is, you know what? This is the one the Orange Man has got right. These guys are just flat out no good. Chinese panicking. Oh, sorry, we're not doing any more economic data. Yeah, that's because they're blowing up. Their currency is blowing up. You cut off the supply of dollars, right? We buy stuff from them. They get dollars. They use those dollars to prop up their toilet paper currency, which of course is replacing ours because that's what the BRICS currencies are, right? Right. Okay. Right. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. That's what BRICS stands for. Okay. Yeah. I don't think we have, we may have two good currencies in there. We got nothing that's going to be the dollar. We definitely have nothing that's going to be Bitcoin. Period. Right. When this hits Hong Kong, and again, I keep saying this, I know it's a little deep, but who's buying crypto in Asia? Who's buying crypto in Asia? Whatever happens in Asia, people in Europe must be loving this. Like, oh my God, we're trading like the American market in like, I don't know, like lunchtime. You go to work, you leave early, you trade crypto. Crazy, right? They're doing it like, actually, maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's European breakfast. So Europeans eat breakfast while the Asian guys go crazy for crypto. You have a problem with the Hong Kong dollar? I'm not going to go into it. I know you're not into it. But you have a problem with the Hong Kong dollar, right? The Chinese are going to completely give up, give the Orange Man everything he wants. And the Bitcoin ETF out of Hong Kong explodes. No one is going to care what they pay. They're not. I said that. You thought I was crazy. Toby said that. You thought she was crazy. And then this thing with ETH happens. Everyone's like, wow, I don't think anyone cares what they pay. Yeah, because it was supposedly dead. It was dead, right? ETH was dead, right? And they're probably saying, and they said the same thing back in the day about XRP, right? XRP went up 400% on a rope. Is there any reason why any big digital asset cannot go up 400%? XRP did it. What's really changed about XRP except the fact that it was an American-made crypto and the SEC went away? 458%. Do you think you can have a 458% rise somewhere else? I do. I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's like, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I'm like, okay, well, what's between here and $1 million? You know, what's the real upside price target in ETH? Look at this crazy banana pants. Okay, time-stamped here, April 29th. Okay, Bitcoin at 94, ETH at 1900, Solana at 140. And basically what I did here was take some Gann work. Where is it? Was take some Gann work about the number 5. Okay. So the number 5 is a big deal for Gann because in the New Testament, basically the New Testament tracks roughly 5 years of the life of a prominent religious figure. Okay. So I will explain this. So first of all, this is available in the Patreon store and it's also available in the Patreon membership area. So Gann said, on the 5th day of the 5th month, which is May, of the 5th year of a decade, you know, what did you have at the end of the New Testament story? You had crucifixion, burial, rising from the dead, and then ascension. Just headed up into the sky. And then it became a major religious doctrine. Effectively a sovereign moral code. So I feed this into the Gann model, and the Gann model is like, well, guess what? ETH's going to rise from the dead now. And it gave me all these price targets for now, later, 2026, And everyone looked at this and was like, bro, you're crazy. Everybody, you're crazy. And then ETH rises from the dead. Literally, ETH was crucified, buried, given up for dead. It was never going up in our lifetime. It had no use case. It was back where it was in 2017 when it was nothing more than like, you know, Vitalik in his basement kind of thing. And then it rises from the dead. It's just a simple fact, right? The 5th day of the 5th month of the 5th year of a decade, boom, resurrection. And what you don't realize is that when ETH does that, it resurrects all of altcoins. So you're watching some of this stuff go up 10% every day, AI, oracles. You know, we just keep picking coins. We just keep sticking it in the Patreon store, right? So not only are we giving this stuff to the members, like for example, yesterday, right? The members got, give me all the coins that are going to perform in the ETH universe for the next quarter and into the rest of the year. And there was only one coin in the ETH universe that was good over the next 3 months and the rest of the year. And that ETH universe coin shocked me. I actually know someone who works there. I got to send it to him. He's going to love it. That's in the regular member area. And in the store only, we have the Solana 7, where I was like, hey, based on the Gann work, what do we like in Solana? And it gave me Solana and 7 coins. And then I said, well, if Solana creates a revolution, what else might go up? And you got some bonus coins. Most of them are big caps. But if you think of Solana as a financial system like ETH, right? ETH rises from the dead and does what? Does what? Well, it starts a financial revolution. It starts the AI revolution, right? So it's not ETH or Solana like Dinwit Crypto Twitter says it is. It's both. So you have ETH rising and taking Solana with it. So right now, Solana is about Moo Deng and Peanut, which is great because the low cap, high beta stuff, right? The low quality, high beta stuff always rallies first. And then you wake up, like I said, on a Saturday or in the middle of the night because you're after it in Hong Kong, gone. Everything you ever heard about Solana, right? Like a lot of the coins that this thing picked, the model picked in the report, you know, I thought were cool, stuff that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of right away. And I just said to myself, oh my God, this thing's just it's going to explode. Pepe the Frog, one of the best calls I've ever made. Right? We had it on here 3 days before ETH went crazy that the model picked Pepe because the model has been thinking ETH the whole time. Pepe the Frog, are you going to shave zeros off that thing? I mean, how many big ETH memes are there, right? I think, what is it? Mog, Pepe, and then maybe on base you have Brett. It's kind of all about the frog, I'm thinking. Bitcoin dominance falling out of bed. Wait until you see the Bitcoin dominance chart. Okay, meme sector, one of the most aggressive price rallies. It's everywhere, right? Note how it's Doge, which no one's talked about yet. Okay, Elon's going to have to start accepting something to get people to buy Teslas. So it's either Doge or it's Bitcoin. And he's probably going to have to start accepting it at Tesla facilities, which are enormous, right? An employee benefit, like pay with Doge and get a 25% discount. It's going to happen. Speculation is back. ETH NFT project Doodles launches whatever. Pengu is back. Peanut is back. Again, what's this mean? I'm not sharing the screen. What's this mean? Hedge funds are underinvested, right? Oh, Gian bought 5 ETH when we released the biblical ETH piece. You know, that's the best sales pitch ever, sir. I'm happy for you. I hope you print money. Our members are printing money. Anyone listening to Toby is printing money. The model is like a ridiculous add-on because I just narrowed down some of her picks to like, what's the machine's like, okay, yeah, these are the next 300X. You know how everyone's always asking, what's the next 100X? Yeah, that's in the YouTube. That's in the YouTube member area. Peanut. Hedge funds, underinvested. Kids in their basement, can't figure out their life. Excellent. Hippos. Let's go. Let's go. GOAT. Truth Terminal. It's unbelievable. Truth Terminal, $152 million for GOAT. It's like a machine that creates a cool coins. There's FART. First it was GOAT, and then it was FART, and they're after this. These algorithms, these hedge funds, they are after it. And I continue to believe that when they discover this small cap coin, or when Trump goes, or both, right? Like, you don't have the hedge fund money yet, although this feels like smart money, just being like, okay, yeah, below 4 million, we're buying this, right? You have hedge funds and algos buying the large caps because that's where they have liquidity. And when they get done doing that, retail is going to go after the small caps. Okay. I mean, Toby has a theory on memes. It's in the podcast. It's absolutely unbelievable. Okay. This was the Lunar Crush printout that I figured out a way to feed into the Gann model to do the filtering process, just so you know. And of course, I'm super into Lunar Crush. Feel free to comment down below. I have 6 videos to watch on how to use this. I would love to do live TA. Yeah. So the YouTube member area, get in. Is that in any way unclear? Get in. Get in. Get involved. Get involved. Here we go. What do we got? Oh, somebody brought this up. This is genius. So this is total crypto market cap outside the top 10. So take the top 10 biggest cryptos out. So take your Tether, take your XRP, your Cardano, your Ethereum, your Bitcoin, take all of that out and just look at Web3. Okay. So of course, no one wanted to buy this 3 days ago because there was all this resistance. And I was worried about the 200-day moving average. And, oh no, Bitcoin's going to go to 91. And, okay. No one wanted it. And then what happens when it breaks through resistance? Well, I'll buy it after I get confirmation. Okay. You got confirmation. You want to buy it up 10%? Do you? No, of course you don't. Not because you're afraid. Because you're like, well, I didn't want to buy it when it was down because I was afraid. And now it's up. So it's overbought and I'm going to buy the top. And I'm like, no, you're not, because LuxAlgo is putting support underneath. Oh, and by the way, Web3 is only worth $250 billion. And, you know, central banks and equities people you can't floss with $250 billion. It's a joke, right? Turbo. Okay. Looks like people are interested in selling the rally. So you have bag holders in a lot of these meme coins. And I'm sure people will take the opportunity to get out. The same way Novogratz, even though I love him and he's kind of my hero, he couldn't get out of ETH fast enough. He wanted to get into Solana. And I after doing this report from the model, now I know why. Now I know why. Because Solana, ETH will ignite altcoins, but Solana could actually wind up changing the world because you'll have ETH and Solana. I'm good with it either way. Solana feels like, after doing this report, that it could change the whole world. Bag holders are getting out. And the key with all these things, whether it's a meme or whether it's tech, you know, it does this reclaim, right? So this was the give up trade. This was everyone packing it in. This is everywhere in crypto, by the way. This is everyone giving up. You had the stealth breakout, right? So you had the triangle. And again, this is absolutely everywhere. right? You have a formation. You're on the discount zone. You do a quiet sideways breakout, right? Quiet sideways breakout. Inside the discount zone, and then boom. And then money flow starts coming in, and that's hedge funds. Like, what can I get that has liquidity and a narrative? That's all I care about. We'll sort it out later. I have to get involved. You know, mutual funds may be putting money inside crypto hedge funds. I mean, like, we can't figure this out. We can't buy an ETF, but we can invest in hedge funds. So have at it. Just that they just lift the cover off the algorithm button and they press the green button, and the algorithm just after anything based on their models. Right. So the point with this is that after the bag holders get done selling, if it doesn't go down, that could take a day, a week, a month. If the bag holders get out of a coin and it doesn't go down, it's going up. Because, you know, the hedge funds or the algos or whoever, they're just going to take all the supply because this is moving like there's no supply. So if bag holders want to provide supply, I think the market is ready to absorb it. I'm not saying don't get out of bad trades. Toby says, you know, that's the time to evaluate your portfolio when it's up, not when it's at zero. Okay. Okay. So OM, this is kind of difficult to do, right? Yeah, it's in the middle of its discount zone and everyone has packed it in. And yeah, I mean, I won't tell you. I could tell you about this, but it's better to hear Toby tell you about this, because this is sitting on its discount zone, and this moved this way based on the behavior of one individual. So naturally, you need to do your own research and be careful, but you got to watch out for this real world asset narrative. And they knocked this thing down like 90%. So the volatility is huge. But what happens if they return to the narrative? Now, I understand if you bought it up top, you got destroyed. And I did think it was funny when I was talking to somebody in Patreon. You know, I thought it should have stopped at 6 and it went to 8. And it turns out that that was probably an artificial manipulation so that they could drop it. Terrible. But again, the narrative, right? No one's talking about the narrative anymore. BlackRock's meeting with the SEC, but no one's talking about it. This was a big avenue for tokenized treasuries. That's what they were doing. So if the stablecoin projects are not going to buy treasuries, then it would stand to reason that the real world asset projects would want to buy treasuries. They have to be able to get treasuries on deposit, right? They have to get the real world asset projects to take in treasuries and then make loans against those bonds. Okay, Ondo, again, on the dip. This is a 4-hour chart. They have support underneath the market, right? This is the new dip. So this is the 200-day moving average in Ondo. Just an example. I will give you a hint, though. I said in a world where Solana changes the world, what are some of the coins? This was one of the coins. So, you know, you have this expanding triangle. Everybody knows it. They all have LuxAlgo. You know, they run it up here a couple of times. Okay. They're afraid. They run it back and they sell again. So we're afraid of the 200-day moving average. We're afraid of this. We're afraid of that. And guess what happens when they're not afraid? Boom. It's gone. Right? They're giving you a dip because they don't believe it, which is excellent. Right? Happy Friday night. They don't believe it. Great. We'll check back with you on Sunday, right? When this whole thing goes to ramming speed and every hedge fund doesn't wait for Sunday night. They're in like a war room meeting probably tomorrow morning going, oh my God, what are we going to do? We don't own anything. That's how this market is trading. Like no one owns anything. And at the institutional level, that cannot happen. WIF, you know, it's funny. On one of these streams somewhere, because it's all kind of blurring together for me these days. I talked about this, right? We talked about how ridiculous it is that this thing was in its discount zone 3 days ago, right? You had huge trend lines that they broke by going sideways right at the apex. Doesn't get any more bullish than that. And LuxAlgo draws these formations. I mean, would you think to draw this triangle? I mean, again, I undersell this, but I just look at it and I go, oh, okay. So they break out of a trend line, out of a triangle formation at the apex on the discount zone. Money was like dribbling in while they were doing it. And the 200-day moving average, get this, the 200-day moving average is 68% above where the market is right now. And they're giving you a dip as we speak on Friday, May 9th. You're going to have to get the report to find out which Solana meme the Gann model likes. Very interesting choice. Interesting. What stops this thing from going up? The hat stays on. Right? Retail got sucked in. Retail got pushed out. Now no one owns it. Nobody. It's like clean slate. That's why they're all up 20%. Like Punky is up 20% today. Pepe up 10%. Solana with the creeping bid above 5. I'm sorry, at 5%. So yeah, Solana. And again, in some ways, I'm okay with it. Trust me. After literally 4 weeks of screaming into this thing and then taking a break just to have Toby whisper it in your ear. Don't give up on this market. Don't sleep on this market. Solana, LuxAlgo, expanding triangle, takes out the 200-day moving average like it's not even there yesterday, goes up 5% and doesn't even have to stop. Equilibrium is at 200, right? This is where they started the give up trade from. Why is this not going up again? A lot. Like, why is this not going up again? Right? Metis and Jupiter. You know, it looks like it's up a lot. Is it? Is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we could sit here all day and do this. And then we could go to the DeMark work. It's just even more unbelievable because now you're in like a pause that refreshes period, right? They're in the disbelief phase. Equilibrium in Jupiter is 82% away. That's where they started the total give up trade. You know, you want to see how high and how hard this market can go up. Like, look at this. Like, this is Jupiter for whatever reason going straight down. Like, this didn't just go down. This went straight down. I don't know. Because, like, guess what? They were tariffing meme coins. What was that about again? Like, we go through this all the time. Like, oh, my God, there's going to be a geopolitical conflict. And then I say, announced wars don't happen. And then Toby says, ignore all that noise. And I just go, okay. Look at this. Look at this angle of descent. I mean, I know you get it, but that's a 79-degree down angle. Okay, so we can have a 79-degree up angle. It broke out today. Oh, it's up 13%. Who cares? Don't pay any attention to percentage gains at this stage of a move. It just broke out, as my boss at Goldman, who they now quote on Zero Hedge all the time. I'm so jealous. Buy breakouts. That's what he used to tell us. So he used to write his thing. Buy breakouts. Right? He loved this. It's why my whole model, part of my whole market update model is based on how he did things. If the market went up, he was bullish. If the market went down, he was bullish. Sometimes he would get bearish. Right? But when it was coming off the low, right, because he really never leaned negative, just kind of acknowledged that it could happen. When the thing started to break out, he didn't have to turn himself around. He didn't have to cover his shorts. He didn't have to do anything. He was like, just get involved. And that's the message. Just get involved. Virtual. I'm not going to tell you who said buy virtual at the low. I know that we have a podcast where we're wearing cowboy hats at the low. I mean, folks, this is all pretty simple when it comes to the AI narrative, which, by the way, you know, we covered in the YouTube member area, and the most explosive setups, the AI token forecast, 5 explosive setups for May and August of 2025, done up pretty in pink. My suggestion is get it while it's hot. We got 3 different ways for you to get it. YouTube member area, Patreon store, D, all the above. You know what some of these private groups are charging to get research? They got it all laid out for you, right? Everybody's got it laid out and ready to go. That's what we got. We have this thing locked and loaded. Remember how I was talking about bags packed? Our analytical bags are packed. There's like 8 new reports in the store. And don't call it a comeback. It's been in the YouTube member area since mid-April. Now, back to the request. I don't know. Virtuals goes up, comes back down to the LuxAlgo support, indiscriminately moons. Money is just now starting to come in. So it's like, it's up. I can't buy it. Hedge funds, algos, they're not going to see it that way. They don't care. They have to buy it or they're fired. That's it. Not to mention the fact that there's nowhere else to invest, which is a new twist on this, right? Like the hedge funds, it's very old school Wall Street. The hedge funds are laying awake at night worried about the mutual funds. They're like, oh my God, if these guys come in and start buying Bitcoin and ETH in massive quantities through this ETF, like hundreds of billions of dollars start coming into this ecosystem, what are we going to do? How are we going to manage the small coin positions? And that discussion doesn't last very long. They see ETH, they have a meeting, and they start market buying everything. They're just like, we're not getting fired on this. We're a crypto hedge fund. We cannot underperform. Find it, buy it. If it's up, buy it. If it's down, buy it. Just buy it. I mean, particularly if it's down. Like if nothing is happening in a coin, trust me, it's going to turn around and happen soon. I'm guessing XRP is next. Right. And then you got moves in coins going on here underneath the surface in like the tech component of crypto. Yeah. That are just, like today we're doing KeyCat, but tomorrow we might do Synthetix. Like anybody want to do derivatives trading? Anybody want to do Wall Street on the blockchain? That was my big thing. Wall Street on the blockchain last cycle. Wall Street on the blockchain and the future of money. Digital cash solutions are taking Bitcoin at Steak and Shake. How far do you think all these other coins, Dash, Litecoin, Roger Ver set up a whole area in Spain that could take Bitcoin Cash? How far away do you think that is? How long do you think it's going to take before John McAfee can talk? Going back to that, right? We had a SUI roadmap. Okay. We had a SUI roadmap, which I put in the Patreon store, and we discussed it in the YouTube member area on one of our podcasts. And like I said yesterday, and probably will continue to say, that in the SUI roadmap, which by the way was very detailed, said that research off the full moon indicated that you had you were going to have an opportunity between the 5th and the 9th to buy SUI. You got 2 dips. One was nastier than the other. And who knows? This could be another dip. Toby gave you the price prediction for this. I mean, SUI told you where Solana and ETH were going, right? The speculative stuff leads. This told you where ETH was going. And then this thing is going to break out of these expanding triangle formations. And again, the last time I saw these type of formations, they were in equities when QE first started. And I didn't understand what they were, but I understood that what they would do is sometimes they would try to break out at the bottom like they did here. And then when that didn't work, it would blow through the top, right? And this is like, that's why it's called an expanding triangle, because what you get when you break out, like a normal triangle might not have this open mouth, but the targets are much, much bigger, right? Much bigger. These things are everywhere. They're either breaking out of a downward sloping give up formation or they're breaking out of these expanding triangles. It's freaking everywhere. Like, you know, and again, it's all led by what's going on in ETH, right? Like, okay, let's go to DeMark. Okay, so here you are in ETH, 4-hour chart. Okay, first leg of the trend. Sometimes that 9 number can be a top. Sometimes it just means you're going to have a dip or a pause that refreshes. So here's your dip. ETH went to 2,600. It went back to 2,300. And now we're doing exactly what ETH normally does. Sit here and do nothing before it explodes again. That's it, right? You're going to have what? 3 days of up only in this. Up only. Like, we've discussed this. Like, look at how they bored you out of this trade. Remember I talk about, so they flush you out and then they bore you out. They just bored everybody out. Everybody just wrapped a narrative around the price action, just like the equities dimwits. Oh my God, the stock market's down. We're going to be in a recession in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, excellent. Everyone has their research adjusted for recession. Everybody okay, right? Okay, kids, seatbelts on. Whoosh, straight back up again. Oh, just kidding about the recession. This was crypto winter. This was never alt season again. Meanwhile, back at the TA ranch, there's nobody home here until 3,100. There's no one home here. There's nothing to stop this thing, right? And as a public service announcement, right? On the monthly chart of ETH, just in case, just in case you're wondering, okay? Do you realize that ETH, prior to FTX, in January of 2022, was at 3,800? Right before it started, the high was 3,500. So prior to FTX, ETH was $1,000 higher than it is right now. Now, what does that tell you? Well, it means, there's a 13 bottom. So that means it's a bottom. And that means that whatever has gone on here, in my mind, is bearish excess. We're in the FTX zone. We're in the FTX zone in ETH. Destroyed, given up for, dead, never going up again in our lifetime. I go through this ETH versus Bitcoin chart. I'm not going to bore you with this today. ETH can't go up anymore, really. You can't reset ETH to pre-FTX levels with Bitcoin, like with no resistance, none. Price discovery, BlackRock and 10 trillion coming in, and we can't reset ETH? Okay. Okay, bro. This is why everything is trading the way it is. You have to understand what's going on here, right? This thing with ETH literally is biblical for altcoins. Everyone's like, everyone's going to wake up Monday and go, I think we're in alt season. That's going to be all over Twitter this weekend. If it's not now, I can't believe it isn't now. But again, ETH just got back into social media, right? So they're going to be talking about Moo Deng and GigaChad. Okay, fine. But what they're not realizing is the catalyst for alt season or just the cycle. We never really had the cycle. Like all we had was all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. An Elliott wave that's called a series of ones and twos, right? Solana, all the way up, sideways, all the way up, down, right? It's very typical, right? This could be considered the first leg of a monster move up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not perfect, but possible. And then this was just the correction of a much, 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 much bigger move higher. See how you got the pause that refreshed, then they bored you out of it. Solana never went down, and then it was gone. But really, if you look at this chart, like what exactly has Solana done since March of 2024? Nothing. Solana has done nothing. And I have like world-changing research. World-changing. Like when I saw this, when I did this, I was like, every time I do this work with the model, I look at it and I just sit there and I go, oh my God. Like I'm so bullish, and I have a good reason. Not that I need another reason, because I have Toby, and so do you in the YouTube member area. Mojo is like bulldozer, dude. I mean, first of all the big influencers were getting research from Toby, right? All these guys with 1 million followers were all like, hey, I got a great idea. Let's buy in May and stay. Yeah, bro. We had that 2 months ago. Not we, Toby did. 2 months ago. VeChain. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. Literally. You know, these characters have a UFC partnership, right? And, you know, no matter what you draw and where you draw it, like, you know. So VeChain, very interesting. Head and shoulders bottom with the upward sloping neckline, right? Little trip to the discount zone, everyone out. When you have these head and shoulders bottoms with the upward sloping neckline, if you break out and don't return below this neckline, like the move higher is dramatic. Like it should be this, but then again, you get into this area with VeChain where it's like, you know, a 60 to 80 degree down angle. Why would VeChain not just turn around and go right back up here? I mean, they have a UFC partnership, right? Am I not right about this? Right? And then, of course, because, you know, the way it was, per the boss, you know, she was like, you know, you can't really talk about old season. This was like a year ago. Like, don't say that. It's going to rally by sector. And it still is going to. It still is. Right? But with ETH now involved, a lot of people haven't seen what happens when ETH really goes. I mean, when ETH was going, you had Madonna and Tom Brady paying $600,000 US for a monkey JPEG. That's what happens when ETH gets going, right? Like it was dead. It was dead. And then Gann work said it would get resurrected. No one believed that. Well, I guess no one believed the religious event way back when. Then the next thing you know, the Romans adopted it. That's actually the best correlation I could make, right? This event happened. There was this guy. He was, I think we could say, we'd be neutral and say he was special, right? In many ways, right? He said things that no one ever heard before. And then the Romans picked up on it and go, you know what? We're going to adopt this. First, we didn't like it, but now we love it. We're going to spread it everywhere. What happens if that's what happens with Ethereum? Like, who's the Roman Empire of today? I don't know. BlackRock, Uncle Sugar, who? Certainly, it could be anybody who doesn't want more of this, right? Because this is happening. I mean, McAfee just got done telling you in this podcast episode that if you do not get privacy, like these 3-minute podcasts, because remember, the actual voice coming from him, comes from the AI. So the AI chatbot of McAfee comes up with this script, and then, it gets fed to this agent. Eventually, the agent will just talk. But this podcast and all the other podcasts are like, get privacy and get decentralized now. So what empire is going to adopt Ethereum, and what happens to price if it does? Okay, so as you can tell, I could probably stay here and talk about this all day, but I want to be courteous to the Eagle King. Pancakes and peanut butter is in the house, right? Coinbase bought Deribit. Dude, wait until the mergers and acquisitions starts. I've been talking about this, and I know everyone thinks it's completely cockamamie. It's okay. It's all right. They're going to start buying each other. Everyone's going to start buying everybody. When Ripple tried to buy USDC and couldn't, the FOMO on the company thing. Someone's going to buy a Bitcoin miner. I'm interested in who bought the Bitcoin miner from Novogratz. And I understand why he had to do that, but wait till you see how that IPO goes. I bet that IPO is going to be absolute gangbusters. That IPO, I think, is the 17th. So you have the Galaxy IPO with the Orange Man dinner 5 days later, with the Vance at the Bitcoin conference 3 days after that. I mean, I told y'all to get a ticket for the Bitcoin conference when there was no reason to get a ticket for the Bitcoin conference at 77. I mean, it's not like I have some huge following and I'm going to earn some gigantic thing because you used my Bitcoin conference affiliate link. But the point is, that could wind up being the biggest thing in crypto ever. It could be the biggest thing since Bitcoin Miami, which was the first conference after cough, cold, and flu. To get attention, to tell you how far he's come, Michael Saylor, in I don't know, maybe it was April. I can't remember when it was. But I mean, to say it was hot in Miami, I'm from Texas. And that heat in Miami was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Michael Saylor was out in like the center area in cement in an all-black suit. Just standing there. You could walk up, take a picture. I held up a T-shirt that said End Fiat, Bitcoin 2021. I wish I still had the shirt. Just stood out there. Take a picture. Everyone thought he was a madman. He was paying 20, 30, 40, 50. Then it went down 50% in his face, and he just kept buying. You want to buy stuff when no one thinks that you should buy it. When there's no reason to buy it, that's when you buy it. Because when the reason shows up, it goes up only. And if I'm right about this wedge fund pickle, where these guys are caught and they're underinvested across the hedge fund and the mutual fund spectrum, and retail just got done leaving. This is a very important final point. Like literally, the news articles, it was like the last person to leave crypto, make sure you turn out the lights and lock the door behind you. That was a week ago. A week ago. Where's this market going to be by the time everyone who left comes back? Those people may be paying 120 for Bitcoin. That, we may reset. The herd didn't want it at 70 or 80. The herd saw it go from 100 to 80 and got out and left. And I understand that was very disappointing. I understand that, particularly if you're used to equities. But what are those people going to pay when they come back? Like Gann says, the energy of that first move, which is why the Trump coin and antivirus can come back, the energy of that first move, because that energy existed, that energy can come back. And of course, for more on energy, you want to talk to the energy expert, and her name is Toby, and she is located in the YouTube member area. So I would strongly encourage you to FOMO aggressively into the YouTube member area, the Patreon store, and the Patreon membership, because I am just like, I'm like a fire hydrant, right? You just lift the cover off and all the Gann stuff, like the Toby stuff, plus the Gann stuff. I mean, it's endless. I'm producing it daily, right? This is eventually going to lead to like a proliferation of research and people printing. So please come pay us a visit. Please get involved. Please do your own research, and don't kid yourself about the seriousness of what's happening here. That's the market update for this Friday. We will see you soon.